Somewhere in this shop is a diamond worth more than $235,000. Except it isn't, because the stone now sitting in that display case is a fake. The two men who made the switch are already gone. They have a plane to catch, and they have a 3-hour head start. The only problem is that they chose to do it here, in a city that was, quite literally, built to make sure they'd never make that flight. This is Singapore, a city-state on an island smaller than New York City, home to nearly 6 million people and one of the lowest violent crime rates on Earth. And right here, in the heart of Chinatown, is Kreta Ayer Road, a district packed with jewelry stores, gold, gemstones, and behind the glass, diamonds worth more than most people earn in a decade. Now, in most of the world, a place like this would be a target. A concentration of wealth this dense practically invites the ambitious criminal. But in Singapore, something strange happens. The criminals who try almost always lose. And to understand why our two men were doomed before they ever walked out that door, you first need to understand what they were actually up against. Friday, June the 19th, 2026. Two men, one aged 30, one aged 42, walk into a jewelry store on Kreta Ayer Road. They don't wear masks. They don't carry weapons. They don't rush. They are, by every appearance, customers, interested buyers, polite, curious, and, crucially, allegedly interested in one specific, very expensive stone. And here is where this crime becomes genuinely clever. Because a smash and grab is loud. It trips alarms. It brings police in minutes. But this is something else entirely. There's no alarm to trip, no glass to break, no moment of violence for a camera to catch. To every witness in that shop, nothing is happening at all. Just two men examining a diamond. And in that quiet, ordinary moment, while allegedly inspecting the gem, the genuine diamond is replaced with a replica, a fake, close enough to pass a glance. Then they do the most natural thing in the world. They leave. No purchase, no confrontation, no suspicion. It is, on paper, almost the perfect theft. The kind of crime that isn't even discovered until the criminals are long gone. Almost. Because here's the thing about a con that depends on looking normal. It only works if everything about you stays normal. And these two men had just done something that wasn't. They had shown intense interest in one of the most valuable stones in the shop. They had examined it closely, and then they'd walked out. No purchase, no haggling, no "we'll think about it and come back." Nothing. And to an experienced shop assistant, that behavior didn't add up. So he checks. He examines the stone they'd been so interested in, and he realizes it's a fake. The real diamond, worth over $235,000, is gone. At about 3:40 in the afternoon, a call for assistance goes out along Kreta Ayer Road, and the moment that call connects, the two men stop being thieves who got away with it. They become targets, on an island, with nowhere to hide. Now, this is the part most people underestimate, because in most cities, a report like this is the beginning of a long investigation. Weeks of work, cold trails, faces no one can place. In Singapore, it's the beginning of a countdown. Officers from the Central Police Division and the Police Operations Command Center move immediately. And they don't start from nothing. They start with footage. CCTV, police cameras, ground inquiries. In a city this saturated with surveillance, investigators don't have to guess where the suspects went. They can rewind the city itself and simply follow them. Every road they took, every camera they passed, a trail assembling itself faster than they could run. And that trail is pointing at one place, the one place these men needed to reach for any of this to work. The airport. Because on an island, stealing the diamond was never the hard part. Leaving with it is. And an airport isn't an escape route. It's a bottleneck, a single, monitored, inescapable point that every plan like this eventually has to pass through. The two men were headed for Changi Airport Terminal 3. They just didn't know that the city had already arrived before them. Somewhere inside Terminal 3, two men are moving toward their gate. In their minds, perhaps, they've done it. The switch worked. The shop didn't stop them. They're at the airport, one flight away from vanishing for good. But the clock that started at 3:40 that afternoon had not yet reached 3 hours. And there, inside Changi Airport Terminal 3, both men are arrested. Within 3 hours of the very first phone call. The genuine diamond, the one they'd allegedly swapped so carefully, so quietly, is recovered on the spot, seized as evidence. It never left the island. Under 3 hours, from "the diamond is fake" to both suspects in custody at the airport with the stone recovered. That is not luck. That is a system doing exactly what it was designed to do. The two men were charged with theft in dwelling, committed with common intention, an offense that in Singapore can carry up to 7 years behind bars and a fine. And this is what makes the case so quietly fascinating, because the crime itself was good, really good. No violence, no alarms. A theft so clean it wasn't even noticed until they'd left. In a different city, a bigger, looser, less watched city, these two men might genuinely have disappeared. But the plan had one fatal assumption baked into it. It assumed that getting the diamond was the goal. It wasn't. On an island wired end to end with cameras, funneling every escape through a handful of guarded exits, the theft was never the hard part. The exit was. And the exit belonged to the city. In most places, crime is a gamble, a question of whether you'll be caught. In Singapore, that question tends to have already been answered. And when the answer is close to certain, even a perfect heist stops being a plan. It just becomes a countdown to the moment it comes apart. In this case, a little under 3 hours. So, could you pull off the perfect diamond heist? Maybe, for about 3 hours. The stone was never the problem. The island was. If you enjoyed this breakdown, there's another case on screen right now that I think you'll like even more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.